Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing today? Good stuff. Good stuff. So, for those of you that are tuning in with us this morning, welcome. All right. So, got a couple things to look at today. Probably going to take a look at AMD. Actually, we're going to talk about Tesla a bit, and then we'll touch on the penny stock PTI. PTI is the only penny stock this morning that actually looked somewhat decent. There's another one that we might talk about depending on whether or not you guys are looking at it. Give me a second. All right, so we'll first here touch on Tesla. So, I was actually kind of bearish on Tesla going into this morning, and it's actually not dropping. So, all I want to mention is that Tesla is down at this support level, or really close to. It broke briefly below like 178 yesterday. So, that's why going into today, right, this little breakdown, you can see this red dotted line, it broke down a bit. So going into today, I was like, maybe it's not wanting to bounce. So I think it's worth watching Tesla for a bounce. The market's starting to go green a little bit, and so I think it might be a good idea just to keep Tesla on watch today, maybe for even a long play, because it's been downtrending for quite some time. And this is the first time we got to the 178, like 3-year support. It did actually bounce a bit, so I think it's worth watching in that regard that it might bounce, right? It's kind of down towards that support system, all right? Next one is PTI. So if you look, PTI is up a little bit here this morning. It's got a couple headlines of news. And recently, if you look back on the chart, it gapped down quite a bit. And now it's kind of curling up. So it might be worth watching it to see if this turns into a good penny stock trader. I myself probably won't trade it. I don't find myself liking it that much, but for some, you guys might actually really like this. But if you look at the yearly chart, you'll see it has a really big gap to fill, and 90% of all gaps in charts get filled, whether or not it happens now or maybe somewhere down the road or in the future. 90% of gaps in the stock charts do get filled, so this is probably worth watching today. My first target, if I were to trade this and things were going smooth throughout the day, first target would be $2, which is the top of that candle right here. And then if it breaks over that, that's when you might have an additional bigger move as it's starting to enter into the gap fill zone here. Okay. Good morning, and Mr. Orlando, you asked about LGCY, so I'll definitely take a look at that here in a bit. Okay. All right. Last one that I'm looking at that I like quite a bit. I'm actually already in long on this. Been swing trading it from yesterday. Is AMD. So, yeah, I'll take a look at SLS too. Yeah, for sure. So this is the one that I really like, AMD. I think AMD is going to see a pretty bullish day. I'm already long. I entered long yesterday on a swing trade. So yesterday it got really good news. Partnership with Samsung goes skyrocketing, and then it crashes. And then late day gets news that it's going to start. Apple's going to start using AMD for all their MacBook Pros. And the stock gets sold off like crazy. Just didn't really add up, so I figured it was probably kind of a shakeout where, just kind of shaking the tree on early investors on that news. So after it all kind of sold off, I figured to get in, and so ended up riding this long. And I think we're going to see a bullish day on AMD, especially with after all the news that it received with Samsung and Apple, and the fact that the market is on a nice bullish up move. I think we're going to see a bullish pop on AMD with the news and with the market movement. Many stocks today will probably see a bullish move because of the bullish move in the market. So if the market stays bullish, most of our large cap stocks for the day will tend to trade on more of a bullish manner. But since the market's bullish, and Netflix has some strong news that came yesterday and late day yesterday, I think we see a strong push on AMD today. So currently, Wait, oh, this is the SPY. That's not AMD. So going into this morning, I'll be up $2,975 on the day with the swing trade with AMD. So today's starting off on a good note. So I'm really hoping this bullish move continues. I think what we seen yesterday, that move up to 30, could easily happen today. So that's what I'm really kind of aiming for. So still just kind of sitting, holding, hoping the market stays green and favorable for us, and that the news on AMD drives the price action higher. Okay. Thank you, Cooley. So we'll take a look at LGCY here. All right, so cheap little penny stock, 13 cents yesterday, had a parabolic run all the way up to 80 cents. I would probably I'd really probably only be bullish up to about $1, but probably nothing more than that. So yeah, I wouldn't trade it myself, but it might have a move up towards $1 if it wants to continue. It's already kind of starting double top formation. Peaked here, drops out, spikes up, peaks there, just lower. So it's already kind of starting to struggle, that is. Yeah, I mean, there's really not formation here. But I will say this, I wouldn't be surprised if it spikes in the morning, because there's probably a lot of people watching it going, hey, look at LGCY, you know. So I would watch it for an early morning spike. The only thing you can go off of is the pre-market action here for an intraday play setup. So ideally, you're going to have a trend line that goes from here down to here. If this trend line breaks pre-market, there's going to be a small pop. But once that trend line breaks pre-market, then you'd have a new trend that goes from this high to the next high. And once that trend line breaks, then you're going to get a pop. So that's really all you can do. Yeah, there's really no fluent gap there. SLS was one someone asked about. SLS, extremely light volume, really no activity there. Probably wouldn't day trade that. Uber. Jamie? Yes, Jamie. An AMD swing trade, I would be long shares. Yeah, if you ever see a P&L within the active trader window, would be shares, not options. Yeah, but it's, with shares, yep. So yeah, Uber. That was Uber at 42 earnings, grind, not bad. Thoughts on Tesla? I'd be a little bit bullish for the day with the market being up. Yeah, actually, I'd watch Uber for a squeeze. Well, it already kind of started squeezing. But yeah, actually, I would watch Uber bullish. I'd be bullish on Uber after this curl, maybe even with the target of a jump up to 44 area. That would be nice to see. Yeah, Andres, though, I would probably be, I would be bullish on Tesla for the day with the market being up and the fact that Tesla just hit its 3-year support. Dipped a little bit below the 3-year support yesterday, which is at 178. Picked back up above that before the end of the trading day yesterday. Bounced off that after hours and or in pre-market today. So more bullish on Tesla. No, Riz, you're right. There is no pattern day trading rule if you're under a cash account. Pattern day trading rule only applies to people using margin accounts. And seriously, casual, I never said, but thank you very much for your donation. I appreciate it, brother. Okay, yep, so it's if you're on a cash account, then pattern day trading rule does not apply. Okay. If we go take a look back, right, at the SPY, I think I touched on it just briefly. Right, this morning it's kind of stair-stepping up. It doesn't mean we'll have a bullish day, but if it can get over, the idea here is that if it gets over where it's really at right now, which is if it gets over 276, it's going to have a nice move, probably even up closer to 279 on the day. So if it can get up and over 277, that would mean it would get into kind of a squeeze play, and we could probably see this push up towards 279 on the day. CHK, Chesapeake Bay Company. I've seen that stock for many years. Doesn't really do a whole lot. Mr. B Custom. Yep, I've been in gold since months back. I actually bought more gold. I think it was last week, maybe last week Friday or Thursday. I added another 25 shares of gold to one of my portfolios. Not a whole lot. I had like an additional $3,500. It was just kind of like sitting around it. I opened up one of my accounts and I just noticed I had like idle cash of like 3,000 or 4,000 bucks. I'm like, well, that's pointless. I'm like, just go buy gold. So I just went and put the rest of that money into gold. I was able to get like 25 shares. I think it was yesterday. So, yep, I've been catching that rip on gold. Actually, it's been a nice move. Me personally, I own a lot of this. Not a lot, but I own a decent amount of GLD. I think I bought it here. It was either, let's see, this would be Monday. Or wait, we're on Tuesday. So Tuesday, Monday, Friday. Yeah, I either bought it here or here. I can't remember which day I bought it. It was either Friday or Thursday, one of these days. Oh, no, it was, I bought it here on this day, I think. But yeah, gold's been going through a nice rip. Again, guys, it's great. Gold is actually really bullish right now. It's going on a nice push. The chart's becoming more bullish. Everything about it's really just becoming more bullish. It's probably because the market's becoming more bearish. And not to mention, guys, if I would say you should probably start buying gold right now. I think gold's going to go on a rip soon. When I say a rip, I think gold's going to enter a bull market here very soon. And we're going into a bear market. Same thing I've been saying the past year. It really looks like gold's set up for a nice bull run. Yep. I think what we're going to see is we are going to see a bull run in gold. All right, if you were to draw a trend line like I just did, from this point down to this point down, gold rejects the trend line, comes down, bounces on trend line support, goes up and over trend line resistance, back down, rides trend line support now, spikes up. So basically this means resistance, up and over resistance, back down, treats this resistance as a new support, and the trend reverses off. So wouldn't be surprised if we see gold start to break out very soon. There's always a settlement time if you have a cash account. A cheaper way to get into gold, excuse me. Allergies have just been crazy. Cheaper way to get into gold is, you can just look up any gold. Just look up gold ETFs. There's some gold ETFs that just track specific companies that mine gold, and I think I came across one that yesterday was like $20 or something like that, $25. It's a way of getting involved within the gold. Yeah, like this right here, GDX, $22 share. Yeah, you could play JNUG, JDST, but those are 3 times leveraged ETFs, so those are really for trading purposes, not really investing purposes. Do note that, guys. If you ever come across someone who tries to tell you that 3 times leveraged ETFs are for investing, that's inaccurate. They're actually for trading purposes more than investing. Yep, no, I usually have 1080p. I'm pretty sure I do have 1080p. Let's see. No, that's weird. I don't know why it's only coming in 720. Interesting. Denny, I haven't been caught up on oil prices, but I could be getting close to it, yeah. Francesca, what does a 3 times leverage ETF mean? 3 times leverage ETF means that the ETF that you're trading, right, is going to move through, basically, in simple terms, the ETF you're trading is going to move 3 times more than the underlying security that it trades off of. So if you're trading a 3 times leveraged natural gas ETF, then your ETF will go up 3% when your natural gas futures go up 1%. Okay? If you were trading an ETF that followed Apple, right? So Apple 3 times leveraged ETF. Apple goes up $1 per share today. Your Apple ETF will probably go up near or close to $3 per share on the day. That's what that means. They have 2 times leverage and 3 times leveraged. What do I think about Uber today? I would be bullish on Uber just for the time being. Yeah, I think it's probably more of a bullish stock than it should be bearish right now. Michael, there are brokers that allow you to trade with only $2K in your account, but not in the United States. Yeah, I didn't read the news with the probe. Yeah, Google. I think one of my buddies was telling me Google. The government wants to probe Google, which is just terrible. The government should never have that type of information. Well, actually, it's not that they shouldn't have that information. It's just they shouldn't have any right to take it from a company. So my response to the whole thing with Google or the government and the feds trying to probe Google is if they want that sort of data, then the government needs to create a business that attracts people that are willing to give them that sort of data. Right? Stop cutting corners and do it like everybody else has done it. Create a business, create something of value that people actually want to use. In that way, you don't have to come and basically steal and cut corners to get that information. So again, government should never have that type of access to a company and things like they shouldn't have that information. If they want it, they need to earn it themselves, and that's just it. Because that information it's an abusive power. The government's going to abuse they're abusing their power to get the information that Google has. And it's an abusive power, and it's just another sign that the federal and the United States government is growing in a direction that is too power hungry. It's pretty clear cut and dry what's going on, but yeah, people don't get it. Anyways, what am I using to draw support and resistance? The drawing tools on Thinkorswim. What I actually feel like is the government can get way too big, and they already are. I would be less concerned of companies being big than I would be the federal government being too big. I would rather be their monstrous companies than probably the federal government be too big. So that's just my. I mean, if for most of you that haven't watched, you'll come to find that I'm not the major advocate of big government. I'm an advocate of state-run governing bodies and minimal federal intervening government. mean, basically, yeah, I fear that, and just again, right? I mean, it's just I'm telling you, it's just think of like if I could for a second, just entertain the idea. In most businesses, you have different levels of management. You don't just have one big person at the top trying to manage all, because it never works very well when someone tries to micromanage every little detail that goes on within the workforce. So you have different departments and different managers of each department to look over that specific group and then report back just to one, right? So again, if the federal government would stop putting their hands in everybody's pockets and then let all the states run their own governing body, and then the federal government only intervenes at like the most critical moment if something's really going downhill, things would be done. It would be far smoother, because it's much easier to govern a state than it is to govern a whole country. So yeah, that's kind of my outlook on that. But anyways, those are just dreams that I have of mine. Anyway, so gold looking good, market not looking so good, and yeah, keep that in mind, guys. I already said this to, I think, our group, one of our in our private group. I think we've entered our bear market. I mean, it's not like in terms of calling it a bear market based on the criteria to meet. We're not in a bear market yet, but I myself already think we're in a bear market. We're just in the very beginning stages of it. So I already started shifting things around in some of my long-term portfolios back when we got this drop. Started shifting things around. So it might be a good idea for some of you that feel the same way to start shifting things around. I'm not going to say go ahead and do it, but I'm starting to shift some things around in long-term portfolios, and it might be a good idea if you feel similar or the same way to start doing the same in preparing for the next economic recession, because it's probably right around the corner in my eyes. So I've already been kind of preparing for that. Okay. Most of the time in my day trades, I use a market order and just get out. What can you expect from a day trading perspective? Lucky 7. Am I going to trade? I trade every day. What do you shift towards as you go bearish? You shift towards defensive stocks and or ETFs or securities, so gold, silver. Precious metals are looked at as safe havens during downtimes in the market. Companies that, right, you have to think about what people are more willing to spend their money on when they have less money. So generally speaking, only people who are knuckleheads will continue to buy brand new iPhones when they're becoming more poor, right? Smart people would stop spending money on the brand new iPhone if they're starting to lose money or go through bad times, and they'd still be more willing to pay their electricity bill. So defensive plays would be like utility stocks for one, where most people would hold off buying the new iPhone to cover the cost of their heating, electricity, so on. So things of that nature. There are inverse volatility ETFs that perform well when the markets go lower, so you can hedge some of your positions by entering new positions long the bear market. So even when the market's going down, you can still find a bull market. So you can do that. You can be a short bias trader. So if in some of your positions are long bias and they're losing money as we go through the next recession, you can short some of the stocks you own with a different account and make money as it's going down. And then you can take the money that you made from shorting and start buying shares of the company as it's lower. And do that. Build up your portfolio at lower prices. Couple things. Yeah. George, yeah, we do these live every single morning for the most part. AK Lawrence, some days I'll upload them, some days I won't, but just know that if you want to support me and our team, first link in the description. Actually, probably not the first link, it's like the second link. Just join our chat room. We go live every single day and trade that way, so you really wouldn't ever miss it. What is your advice? Sounds so simple. Question. That kind of it's kind of confusing there. Villa, I teach a little bit about options, but our one of our mentors, Dave Hahn, has been trading options for like maybe 12 plus years, teaches them in our Elites trading program. We do classes on Mondays and Thursdays. Monday and Thursday we teach a night class on options, and then we record them, and then we also upload them into the course. So if you miss them, you can go back and review them as well. All right, guys, with that being said, I'm going to get back to the private group. You guys have a good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning for another video. Everybody, take care.